Sheesh. 780 people in this thing. Largest. Waggler. You want a waggler. Alright, here we go. Not looking forward to this one. Ugh. Oh, that's alright, bro. I'm getting ready to enter this comp or this tourney. That's going to be horrible and slow, probably more than likely. So we shall see, man. We shall see. And we're off. This could be hideous. The scores aren't looking too high other than a few that's figured it out, so we'll see. It's also possible that alright, bro. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see what happens here. No guarantees. It's not looking good. I watched a few of the guys' streams today. There's multiple tactics you can use. Some people are just sinking floats, kind of turn them into bottom rod. I hope, bro. I hope. I hope. Not a very pleasant peak. It's possible I do really horrible, so I don't know. I'll probably catch a bunch of piranha, I know that. More than likely. More than likely I'll get a bunch of piranha. Welcome any of you guys tuning in. I've heard all kinds of different strategies in this. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to try a bigger hook to start. I practice and I can't hardly get a uni with the small hooks. So, I don't know. Start of the peak, I'm going to try a bigger hook. I'll downsize from there. We'll just see how it goes. This is not really that action-packed, just so you guys are aware. A lot of people are saying sink the bobber or whatever, but I'm going to try to play. No offense to anybody that's sinking their bobber, but I'm going to try to play kind of how the developer wanted you to do, is just use a float. So I could do poorly, but I'm just going to try to have an authentic experience through it. And it could get extremely slow. Again, you guys might learn more from what I do wrong than I'm going to do right, but to me, it would make more sense starting with a bigger hook, but I don't know. But I am going to rotate markers quite often at the start here. Just looking for an active spot. Yeah, how you doing, Josh? What'd you end up with, buddy? Yeah, I hope I get the kind, but I'm gonna try. I don't want to sink the bobber. No offense to anybody that's sinking the bobber. I think the developer wanted you to kind of mix the species, so I got a 4.0 set up with Iracos for the arowana, and then a Captain 7.0 to start with large minnows for the Payara, and I'll just kind of see how it plays out. But if anything, you guys will kind of see what I've did wrong or right. And again, yes, David and RNG needs to be on your side in these things. I'm hoping that I can put a good run together tomorrow or whenever Q2 is. I know the Amazon a lot better than I do the Maku. And I know I could probably pick up a little on a 2.0 or a 3.0 or sink a 3.0 and 4.0 on a light waggler, but I don't want to turn my float rod into a bottom rod. It's supposed to be a float rod tournament, so again, no offense to those guys using that strategy. $75.3, I should have sunk on my boat. Dude, I'll take 75.3 pounds. I did reboot my system before I started the stream, but we'll see how bad it gets. I've been pretty lucky in the tournaments this year, so this is probably the tournament that I'm not going to be lucky in. Unless somehow tomorrow I can put out 600 pounds of Triera somehow. And any of you guys watching this back that might watch this later, I'm starting with a big hook just because I'm higher at the peak, so I'm hoping for a better fish to start. If that does not work for me, it may not work for you, so then you adjust accordingly. A lot of people are running 3.0, 4.0, but I know they're about the same size as the Cornish Jacks, so it would make sense to me to start with a 7 or a 6. So they don't make a Captain 6.0 or 5.0, so I'm going to try a 7. And I'm also not running a titanium leader. You may want to run a titanium leader. I'm not sure. I watched a little bit of Seabix, and he was saying that you don't get bit off too often. So just hoping for a better bite rate. Ran 4.0 the whole time. Did he? Yeah, I just would think you'd want to start with a bigger hook, but that's just me. I could be. Everybody does their own little way. This is just, again, my personal experience in this tournament. Take it for what it's worth. If you learn something I did wrong or right, as I always say through these things. Again, I probably could have had a common or two by now. Probably if I had a 2.0 on. I practice with a 2.0, but the best I could get's like 55 to 70 pounds, and 70 pounds you're not going to place at 70 pounds. So I'm just changing my strategy entirely. But again, any of you guys watching this back, you'd want to put a waggler light on and sink it. That's up to you if you want to do that. But that's a lot of the guys at the top. That's how they're getting all those points. Oh, you did it. A 4.0 the whole time, only got 42. Yeah, that's why I'll take if I miss a few and a few of the smaller ones and a big one finally hits it, I'll take it, and then I'll adjust from there. I was just hoping if I could get one uni, then I could just start putting on the smaller ones, the smaller hooks, and go from there. Thanks, Charles, buddy. I'm trying probably an unorthodox strategy here, but My practice rounds wasn't going too well, so I figured I'd try something different. But I know I like the 5 to 7-0 since they don't make a 5-0 for these, and a captain. And I know the captain O's work pretty good for the Cornish Jack. Since they're about the same size uni-wise. But I guess if I'd caught one, it would make more sense. But yeah, the scores wasn't too fun in the practice. And I'm hoping a 7-0 will keep the prawn away, but who knows? They'd probably bite a captain 14 if I put it on. Good hunt, bro. How are you doing? Oh, you've only caught fish while you Charles, don't make it worse on me, bro. Now you're in my head. That's funny. Who knows? Who knows? It could be that one of those things too. If I would have used a different color bobber, I might have caught some. It's funny how that game works, man. And you don't know if it's in your head, right, Charles, or was it just a thing? Well, this bobber's not bringing me much luck. Oh no, I believe you. I know, that's what I'm just saying. I just didn't want you to get in my head, Charles, and think, well, maybe that's right. Maybe I do got a lucky bobber somewhere. I've been lucky on this spot before, but man, it takes a lot of patience. I'm probably the only guy in that didn't have a fish within the first 11 minutes, too. Yeah, basically, you just got a clock right here, Johnson. Left, right, center, a little bit to the right of this post over here, but then you can go just straight over. I may come back over here, but obviously. Oh, there was a decent one, looked like a trophy. He didn't want any part of it. Good one, Charles. That'll pay the bills. It's 11 pounds in the bank. I'm guessing that's a piranha down there. Maybe my first fish will be a piranha. Heck yes. Living the dream. Good job, Charles. Yeah, that's about where I was flatlining, is that 60 to 70 pound range, so I thought, I'm gonna try something different. Did you get a union practice at all, Charles? I couldn't get them on a 3, 4, or 5, so, or 2, I actually tried 2 to 5. Yeah, see, that was my problem. No, I never did make it through an entire 2 hours of practice either. It was so boring I couldn't stand it. So looking for a trophy PR for the big finish? Well, good luck, man. I'm still looking for a Pyara. Did this thing start at 8 and not 9? Or 7? I thought it started at 7. It started at 8. Well, hell, we had the peak wrong, Josh. Well, I guess you had to pick between 7, 8, and 9. I guess now we know it's 8 next year. Yeah, but you know what? Something's wrong with Willow Hunt. I don't know what they've done to Willow. I don't know if they changed it where you can just get oversized and they're randomly there and the mix just is an attractant instead of accelerant, so to speak. I don't know. They've done something to Willow. I don't know what it is. They've changed Willow, so I can't really answer that anymore. You might have to have boilies now on a carp rod. I don't know. I've been doing all this other stuff, so I haven't been over there to try to figure it out. I think I'm going to have to relearn Willow all over again because I think they've changed it, whether they admit it or not. People are claiming it didn't make sense. In other words, the carp aren't like a vacuum, so when you throw a mix out, they don't vacuum up 20 pounds of it and all of a sudden get bigger. That the fish are already going to be a certain size, and then you can get them to bite by a certain mix now, maybe. That's what the theory is. Maybe. Or maybe you can catch them on a lure now. I don't know. Okay, I can already tell you. I probably should have started over there. So anybody watching this back, if you start with a bigger hook and you're going to go big or go home, I would start over here on the island and not start there on the dock. Or the peninsula, I should say. Thanks, D, bro. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream, my man. I'm doing an unorthodox strategy. Imagine that. I'm trying a bigger hook to start here. It hasn't been so successful, but that's all right. Just typing something, hoping for a bite. That's usually what happens, Charles, right? You go to type or answer somebody in chat. Even in the game chat, it does that. That happens to me a lot. I know the deal. I'm wondering if they're even going to give me a Peora. Alright, let me see something. I'll break out my arowana setup. Maybe I'll go all arowana, boys. I'll pop off 10 unique arowana. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it, buddy. Charles was hoping for triple digits, and I'm just hoping for double digits, man. In practice, I figured out I could get them on with the Araku or the Amazonian sardine, but I would get the arowana on collateral. Yeah, you know what's funny is I was even getting trophy PAR off the 2-0, but again, I couldn't hit the score that I wanted to try to hit, so that's why I abandoned ship. I probably, if I would have stayed with that plan, I probably could have got 60 or 70, but I figured if anything, this would help somebody out if they were wanting to go a bigger hook to start. But again, you can't control RNG either. More than likely, that's going to be a arowana. Yeah, I knew this was going to be tough. A bit boring too, to be honest. I kind of wish the first one would have been at St. Croix on a float for muskie or something. That would have been more entertaining than this. Get out of here, Dragonfly. Why is my line not even reeling? There we go. Oh yeah, D, how'd you do, buddy? I watched a little bit of Dave's. I could see he didn't get that much of a bite rate either, so I almost expected it. Just couldn't bring myself to sink the bobber. I can see why they're sinking their bobber, though. Absolutely miserable. Absolutely miserable. And I know my mark's good. Trouble is, if you don't sink it, it's not going to stay where you want it. Did you get a uni D? Oh, just trophies and yeah. Did you do a practice and a template on the same day, D, or was you just practicing in free mode? Well, anybody watching this back, you can see I did, I've been Captain O, I've been 2-0. Maybe you should have started at the Peninsula. And now I must go back. Oh, all peaks in free mode, yeah. Yeah, Fort, I know. I know what the common thing is. I could be sinking a 3-0 right now and that did a lot better, but I'm just trying to get an authentic experience out of it. I think they meant it to be slow. Just my opinion. Like I said, guys, when you tuned in, this is probably going to be boring. I always wonder when the developers put this up, do they run it themselves and kind of test things out and see kind of where the scores would be, and then guys just figure things out to kind of make the scores get higher. They have to. No one can make it this bad on accident. Yeah, I think that's what they intended, and they kind of probably wanted you to have a mix in the bag. I doubt they, again, no offense to anybody, I doubt they expected people to be sinking Waggler lights or sport floats or oval or whatever they're sinking to turn them into bottom rods. I doubt they expected that. But maybe hints in the future, devs, test some of that stuff out. So if you want us to have an authentic experience like I'm having right now. Anyway, I'm going to share the wealth with you boys. This is what happens if you don't sink your bobber. But strategy-wise, you'd think you'd go a bigger hook to start at the peak, hopefully get one or two nice size ones, and then downgrade your hook from there. Whether you're changing your depth, There's a decent one, if it'll bite it. That's a nice one. Take it, big boy. Is he going to run? Is he going to take it? Oh, I want to set the hook so bad. Is he going to run? He wants it, I think. There's one on 7-0, boys. Not saying that's the best strategy, but in the end, you want bigger fish in your net. Took me 30 minutes to get a big one. So again, you guys watching this back, adjust accordingly. I think where I messed up, I probably should have started on the peninsula. The spot wasn't active. Now that that'll play out the same way for you, I do not know. Thank you, thank you. I was hoping it was going to be a nice 27-pounder. But that's kind of the thought process I had going in. Start with a bigger hook, downgrade as the peak drops off. How you doing, gamer bro? Welcome to the stream, my man. Hope your day's going good. Payara and arowana. Well, that was my plan. I was going to get a few nice size Payara and then switch over to arowana and go probably a 3040 with Araku, start with large minnows. That was my plan. Hasn't gone all that well. We got one nice one, but I waited a little way too long for it, so I might have to downsize hooks here in a little bit. But again, they're not handing out unis very, very easily at all, especially if you're keeping your float at the top. Your level 61, 7 more levels and you get to the Amazon. Oh, did you like the chicken liver over the large cut bait? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the chicken liver. Did you stay with the 4L? Nice. Yep, and then all you got 7 more to get to the Congo, my man. You'll be there before you know it. You should have plenty of time, Hunt, by the time they release that new DLC, so I'm just curious to see what the devs are going to set the max level to get into the new map. Will they go from 80 to 90 or 80 to 100? Or will they be nice and just make it 85? My guess is the 90 range, but I don't know. If you didn't hear, you have to go watch Super Dave's video or Bubbles Way, or I think D's got a small thing up on as well. They're releasing deep sea fishing. They just haven't said when. Hold on, guys. Let me, I'm gonna cast one mark right here, and then I'm gonna look at the peak. Again, a lot of you guys watching this back, you'll get a little bit of you get a little bit of experience kind of seeing how these marks played out. But I think if I was to start again, I would have started at that peninsula, and then came over here. I'll give this spot a few more minutes, guys. 7-0 did get me a bigger thing, but obviously just to catch a few, I'm going to have to downgrade probably. But that was my original plan. The odd part, fishing with walkers and stuff here, I know I could get a 3-0 walker to get the unique pair, but in practice, I couldn't get them for nothing on a 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 2-0. You get a steady bite. But again, if you fill your net with 8, 7-pounders and 2 decent sized trophies, you're still not going to be in the triple digits. You got to realize there's a lot of people that are going to be watching all the streams and practicing too. So I'll be curious to see where the cutoff is. You would assume it to be in the triple digits. And I actually expected this to be a little higher. And I also kind of wish I would have played in the Saltwater Giants and then just came and played in this later. I knew this was going to be pretty boring. Yeah, probably anybody that's watched Super Dave's stream and CBX and mine, it's pretty boring. And Rex's, of course. I think Rex did all right. I think he was sinking though. And again, nothing wrong with sinking your bobber if that's what you guys want to do. Well, the bait's so heavy for it. All you got to do is get a Waggler light, put a large minnow or whatever minnow you want on it, shiner or whatever. It's just gonna sink. Yeah, D, I understand. I don't mind if I do bad in the comp, but that's realistic. I'd rather record it and just do it live, and if I do bad, I do bad, or if I do good, I do good. That's fishing though, right? It's more authentic, I think, in my opinion. You're not always going to have good runs. Lord knows I don't. I am surprised they haven't at least gave me a couple comments after downgrading. Oh yeah. Well, it's fine. A lot of this I figured whoever's I mean, I appreciate all you guys watching this live, but some of this is generally just intended that way you can fast forward through these things and say, dang, Road, I'm probably going to start the other spot. That looks pretty brutal there. But hey, I did see that big one will bite a 7-0. So maybe you're somewhere and you're that guy. Maybe you made a better move and you started at Peninsula, but you kind of see how this area has played out. It does feel that I was out of sequence and maybe I should have started at the Peninsula. In other words, timing wise, I bet the Peninsula is active. And now looking at this looks like it's dead. I mean, I can cast over here by the post. There's only so many areas you can cast over here. I'm kind of surprised they had the Q1 here. But yeah, anybody that fast forwards through this or ends up watching it, you probably should have just started over there. I bet that spot's active to begin with. You seen the same black cat? Welcome to the stream, Mariska. You seen him 4 times, so you ended up feeding him, felt bad for him. Well, you might have made a friend, man. That's good. We got a piranha following it. Anybody else watching this back, the computer on this game sometimes will show you no mercy. Also find it odd at this lake why the PR are only in a couple spots. It's a pretty good sized lake. Well, you know, and I debated that too, D, now that you made that point. I kind of thought most people will probably use large minnows or shiners just because what if some of the lower level guys that's entered this, it wouldn't be right of the developers to make them have to buy that pack to get, like, let's say, the banded araku or the Amazonian sardine, per se. If you don't buy the pack and that was the best thing to use, how would the average player? So that's why I would assume large minnows and shiners should have been the best. Just because most people that can get either one of those. But I again, not picking on anybody, but I highly doubt that they wanted you to sink a sport float or a light waggler or whatever everybody else is doing. I think they wanted to torture you, make you move around the map, get a few PAR, and then probably target the arowana because the arowana are more prolific. Oh yeah, I would agree, Charles. There's universally at every lake almost, except for maybe Willow and a few other places, definitely the large minnows are king. And again, anybody watching this back, since it's later in the day, it's warmed up. Maybe they've moved a little deeper, so I will go down some. I'll try 4 foot, in the event this helps anybody. You have a friend with a bait caster with no reel. So D, you're telling me Amazonian sardines are banded araku? You just caught a catfish off a bass jig? What'd you have it paired with, gamer? Crawdad? Tilapia. Josh says tilapia. Yeah, that's what I figured, gamer. But yeah, D, you could be right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they wanted to punish you and make you pay money to get the tilapia. So anybody watching this out, you might want to start with tilapia or the most expensive baits. And if you were unfortunate and couldn't buy the pack and you're not leveled up enough and you've entered, then you're stuck with shiners and large minnows. Oh no, you're D. I'm fine, buddy. I've did well in 2 tournaments this year, and I already told everybody on my friends list I didn't expect to do well in this one. My best chance is tomorrow at the Amazon. I know the Amazon well, so no guarantees. But I know I'm not going to be an hour and 10 minutes in with 18 pounds of fish. I guarantee you that. And you won't be seeing me doing the one pump trump with a Troy either. I'll be using a float rod, match rod, not the old telly. Thankfully, they're putting that on the shore. I doubt they can telly from the shore, but maybe. Because I'm almost certain Tiger Trails for sure. You caught your PB Taman by 4 pounds. Nice, dude. Good stuff. What dip was that? Okay, guys, anybody watching that back, that was 6 foot deep later on in the day. And I know that's 12 foot over there because I brought a bottom rod out and practiced it to see how deep that was. But that's 12 foot deep where I'm casting right there. That's a nice size Taman, my man. Good catch. And you guys tune in to look and playing this later. I think I should have started on this peninsula. And I did get a nice 18 or 16 pounder with a Captain 7.0. It might be something you try for the first 10 minutes or so. And I did start with large minnows, but it's possible they've snuck it in tilapia, banded, or araku, or one or the other. One and one quarter 6.0. Awesome. I didn't catch the last of that. The trophy flat spoon. I'm going to take this down to 8 foot. Again, I know that's 12 foot over there. Again, you could put on a bobber and just sink it to the bottom. But the odds are you'll get a... Well, maybe it's not 8 foot. Pretty sure it's 8 foot. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. So, yep. That should be 4 foot off the bottom. Matt, all you got to do is, I'll do it real quick. I'm going to probably go back over that other spot. As you can see, not having the best of luck anyway, so it really doesn't matter. On your plus pad, or your little directional pad, just hit up or down. But my guess is this spot right here should be active off the start. Yeah, you'll need the time, man. Like I said, I was just kind of putting this up to help people. I'd already told a lot of people on my friends list I'll be trying a bunch of different stuff just to help people out. And it's more authentic because it's actually in the tournament. It's not in the practice template, so it should help you guys out. Again, I know this spot over here is about, hold on a second. A good way to test stuff like that. That's why I brought this rod, even though I can't catch anything with it. What's up, Tattoo, my man? Welcome to the stream. You can just cast this out here and then see how deep it is. Should be around, yeah, 5 feet. So if I wanted to bottom that out, you know, I could be around 60 inches. So I'll go a little deeper just to see. But that's how you can. You're currently grinding the Congo thanks to a pack trying to level it up. Yeah. There you go. I got some nice rotations I put up on my channel too, Matt. If you look through videos, I got like a Congo power rotation, that sort of thing, if that does help you out. Again, so I know that's 5 foot, so you know, I should be able to go 48 to 52 inches to just to see if they're a little deeper. Again, I'm testing this stuff out for you guys as well. I knew I wasn't going to do well in this anyway because I didn't practice well, but I figured just to see the variances from a practice template to the actual tournament might help some of you guys out. And I'm sure there's a lot on my friends list that haven't even entered into this thing, so hopefully this helps some of you guys out. But yeah, don't feel free to do your tilapia and everything else. But I know in pregame I was able to get some of them on the Amazonian sardine as well. I really didn't have that much luck with the tilapia, but some people are claiming that. So again, if you've got all the baits, try them. And also, any of you guys tuning in that are going to join in this, you can see if you do get a bad bite rate, no matter what you do, it's definitely probably going to be a slow comp for you. But again, to help a lot of you guys out, a lot of them are just sinking their bobber, the guys that are having the best scores. Which is odd because kind of following along with the thought process that I did, you should be able to just figure out the depth with your bottom rod and then just, set it deeper. It's just mind-boggling that the game wouldn't work like that. So you have to sink a bobber instead of wouldn't you just lower your bait closer to the bottom and still get the same bite rate? That's kind of what's driving me crazy on this thing. What lure should I get for Indonesian peacock bass? I like the popper 7.0s. The mice work good. The buzz bait with the nymph or the glow crawl work good. Are you talking about the speckled? Either one they'll hit. I tend to lean towards rotating the poppers and the mice. If you've ever watched my Mighty 3. But a lot of people claim they love the buzz bait paired with the nymph, sometimes even a bass worm. Oh, you're talking about in real life? My bad, Mariska. I would, dude. I've never fished in Indonesia, but I know the whopper ploppers and the flopper ploppers and all that actually work in my area in the central United States for largemouth. I've never fished for speckled in real life, my man. I'd like to. I bet it's a blast. Again, I bottomed that out pretty much, guys. I went as deep as I could. Let me go another 4 inches down. I'll test this out for you guys. See, that's actually on the bottom almost there. Practically is on. There we go. Alright, going deeper didn't seem to be successful unless you sink your bobber, guys, so there's that fun fact, which is beyond me. I have a list of peacock bass, tall bass, black bass. Oh, awesome, man. Again, I've shallowed this back up just to see. I'll give this a couple more minutes, guys, then I'll put on some premium baits for any of you advanced players that have all the stuff. I'll cycle through tilapia for you and some Amazonian sardine, and we'll see if anything changes. 60th with 72 pounds, better than practice away. Yeah, Charles, see, that's kind of what I was saying. I tested out, and I figured, uh, you know, for crying out loud, I made some moves right there at the end at Quanchkin when I qualified for the bass tournament and eventually made it to the finals. I changed to a spider pretty much 3 minutes before I live streamed, and I qualified and ended up catching 14 unis on largemouth bass, make an adjustment there at the end. So, like I said, sometimes I'll miss, but I think these guys are at the top. They're either sinking their bobber to get it, or some of them know they want a bigger hook to start and kind of knew the cycle a little better. But again, I'm gonna start cycling through the premium baits now for you guys just to kind of see how it plays out. Going on the same markers. I'll go shallow and deep as well just to see if more piranha move in, less piranha, that sort of thing. But I'll probably stay at the hook 3.0 just to kind of give you a nice medium average. That way you guys can kind of tell what you want to do in this thing. Again, I didn't plan on placing in this, so I don't mind being your guys' guinea pig. So we'll go. I want to say the Amazonian sardine is the most expensive, right? Or no, the tilapia. The tilapia might be. I'll rotate with the tilapia and the Amazonian sardine first and kind of see. Well, hell, the banded might even be up there. And I'll leave it at each marker for a few minutes. Yeah, they will be. And I kind of said that moving in. We talked the other day, Chuck. Can you make a video on how to auto walking? Mariska, I actually got one of those up. It's the same thing, bro. If you watch my auto popping video, just go to videos. It should be on one of the most popular ones. Just scroll down a ways. All my tips and tricks or rotations and that sort of thing are on my videos. All my live, if it's labeled, it's for the actual comp. And then if it's just live, like comp grind, that's me replaying the things. But if you look on there, it's the same thing, Mariska. Just reel for a second, pop it a couple times, get the animation stuck. It works with mice, walkers, poppers. So auto popping and auto walking is virtually the same thing, man. And then simply just set the hook. If a fish misses it, pop it again a couple times, then it'll restart that animation. Okay, at the same marker, I didn't really get any action. I will, now they won't even let me rotate. I will go to tilapia. We'll see if there's any interest in tilapia. And just a keynote, I'm kind of in the middle here, guys, at 27 inches. I'm not real shallow, I'm not real deep. Again, you guys adjust accordingly. You guys that are watching this, that are going to go play in it. In other words, Mariska, you can auto walk with a mouse as well, duck, lure, anything that walks or pops. It does not work with a popper. And you know, I don't know if I tested. I don't think it works with a buzzbait either. I'm almost certain it wouldn't work with a buzzbait as well. Animation or the mechanics are different. Okay, there's a nice trophy butterfly peacock bass off a small tilapia. Anybody curious about wanting to use tilapia? Just to be safe, I'll cast one back. You know, sometimes these guys are over here right along with the Parara, but just to kind of for experimental purposes, we'll stay with the tilapia for a second. Awesome, Cryptic. I'm glad it helped you, buddy. Okay, we have got a Bayara. Whenever the top water isn't working, I switch to it and then start coming. I got you. What's a tamian? It's just a really big fish species at the Slinge River on here. Pretty much. Yeah, that's a good description there, Cryptic. It's pretty much a big salmon. And again, moving on, I'm going to another marker with tilapia just to see. There's a knot. Oh, and it ran off. If you guys seen that, it actually ran from the tilapia. We'll see if it comes back. And that was a piranha because I could see it. Trying to stick this tilapia out just to see if it's a go-to for you guys or not. At least in this experiment, it has not did well. So now I'll rotate again. I'll give the... Oof. Yeah, on PC, whenever you catch a taimen, it was an achievement that says Salmon Collector or something. Oh, okay. Yeah, see that? I learned something new every day, too. After you said that, it kind of reminded me of a big salmon. I'll give this a few minutes as well, guys, for you, just to see in the actual tournament if anything changes with one of these premium baits. Again, I'm falling into medium on hook size. That's why I'm using the 3.0. And we'll just see if this bites. I'll give it about another minute and a half and we'll see. And I'll switch baits. My one fear with this bait is, depends on where you cast this. I know the Arapaima really love these things, so take caution if you do use this bait casting too far over there. I'll give it about another 45 seconds and we'll see. The one thing I did forget, I think, is the finger mullets. My apologies on that, guys. Again, something you might want to test on your own before you start the tournament. And just to make sure 100% positive, this spot to me right here is the most active. So I'll just double check, make sure that this is not working. I will throw this back out here. It does not appear to get anything at all, so again, I'll start over here and hit a couple spots with the scald sardine for you guys. I'm trying to think. I want to say this came out at Blue Crab, but I could be wrong. But we'll see if we get any interest at all in what fish. And also, any of you guys fast forward and watching through this, always pay attention to the time stamps. Yeah, the achievement says Salmon Master, not Collector. Okay. Yeah, that's funny, Cryptic. I never even paid attention to that, man. Okay, doesn't appear to be much going on there. I'll try a couple of these markers just kind of be your guys' guinea pig for this thing. I'll try this spot here. Just see, leave it a minute or two. I wouldn't think this would be one that would work fairly well at all. I would say to follow the nice easy medium, probably most people might be doing well with the large minnow. That would make the most sense. Again, that's just my thought process. Okay, I think that's just the actual sardine that's moving. So I'll try one more spot for you guys. And definitely scalloped sardine for me. I know I did a little work in the practice, obviously, but I don't think scalloped sardine is going to be the one. I think I've cycled through. I've tried the banded, obviously the minnows. I have not tried the shiners yet, but these two should be the most steady in my opinion. Now there might be a secret one out of those, but again, I'll go ahead and go into the Araku here and just see if anything changes. But I did get, now I will tell you in practice, I was able to get one trophy off of the Amazonian sardine. But, stranger things has happened. If anybody's watched my predator carp thing, the unique chain pickerel will actually hit the Amazonian sardine at Emerald Lake, believe it or not. The Raku minnow worked okay in the first half for you. Yeah, that was on my top three, Charles, the Raku. But I seemed to miss a little bit and hit the arowana seemed to love the Raku. So if anybody's trying to get a few late minute arowana or whatever you can put in your net, you could probably use the Raku. Would you agree with that, Charles? Again, that looks like that's a piranha maybe down there. That might be a pyro. What is that? Nope. Swam off, so. And again, I'll go back to large minnows just to see. You guys seen I've tested all these spots, so I'll go back to large minnows for you. But I'm going to assume most people were probably using large minnows. There might be some guy that practiced this hardcore. He's sinking his bobber. He's using a tilapia. He's using a hook 4 or 6-0 or something silly. Who knows? Yes, with 3-0 and somewhere around 40 inches. So any guys that are watching this back, Charles with the RFF, well-respected player in the fishing community, said 40 inches, 4-0. He was having some success with the arowana as well on the Raku. So if that helps out anybody in qualifier 1. Again, I didn't plan on doing well in this, so I'm kind of just going through, cycling stuff out, more for just kind of experimental purposes. And it might even, help myself next year as well. Kind of the strategy I would have did differently. And I'm definitely looking forward to qualifier 2. It'll actually be fun. And I would hope you don't have to sink a bobber to get a good bite rate for the Triera. I've never had to do something like that. And again, just to kind of test something for you guys. Now, if I was to catch a big fish off this, I'll throw it back. But I doubt I will at this point late in the game. But just so some of you guys on my friends list, if you're wanting to go that method, again, I'm not knocking all the players that are doing it. That's just them simply adjusting. But if you wanted to put... Yeah, me too, Charles. I knew going into that. Well, I've been busy making videos and doing all this stuff too. Yeah, definitely next year, keynote. A guy might want to... come over and practice the Peora. As you can see, that'll sink the bobber. Even if it doesn't show the bobber, I might pick up a piranha, I might pick up a Peora. If I do pick up a Peora, I probably would just throw it back. Again, that's just my personal experience in the game. I wanted it to be more authentic, but a lot of the people are just doing this so that their float stays there, and for whatever reason, they're finding that they're getting, better fish and a little better bite. We'll see if it happens or not, but I just kind of want to give you the idea what they're doing. Even though you're not seeing your bobber, it'll still ding. And if you wanted to, you could click your, if you see that little icon coming up, you can clip your line there. And if your line was to change, you'll know that you got one on, or vice versa. But I'll unclick it. We'll leave it there for a few minutes and just see if A, we catch a piranha, or B, we catch a Peora or not. And obviously, you just find whatever bobber that you like that you want to sink, but I know a lot of them were using the Waggler light. Oh, hold on. One key note on that too. I think those guys that are doing that, they're not running a leader, and I want to say they're going 9 to 12 inches deep. And then basically they're just going from mark to mark like this. As you can see, what the benefit would be, you're not getting as much moving out of your bobber, and since your bobber is so short, 9 or 12 inches away from your minnow, it's not moving as much, so you're more on cue on your point. So then from there, you'd probably just want to rotate out from spot to spot. But I'll just give it a minute or two and just kind of show you kind of what transpires. But that's what a lot of the top guys are claiming that they figured out. So again, I'm not knocking the top guys and you guys that are watching this back. I just wanted a genuine experience in it. If you have a good RNG, it will work, but I don't and didn't catch one. If you do try it, I would recommend tapping it. Okay, yeah, and you guys look back on the comments, because a lot of times the RFFs helped a little bit, the GTF, a few other guys have been kind of putting up little comments and tips to help you guys out as well. So, but yeah, again, that's a good point too, Charles. Sometimes you just won't get the good RNG, but again, I wanted to test out and show some of this stuff. But basically, that's all you'd want to do. Again, no matter where your mark's at, just tap it out there, and you could actually probably let me see if that changed anything. I messed with it a little bit in practice, but I didn't. I don't know. Again, not knocking anybody. To me, it just kind of feels a little dirty, so to speak. Kind of like using the Troy in the trophy whiskers, or using the Troy in the tiger trails, or using the Troy in the meaty fellas. That's something I really don't want to partake in. Or casting into a magic rock and crank the river. And again, for me, it hasn't really made much of a difference, but again, that's not something I really like to teach anyway. It'd be like teaching somebody how to one pump a Troy with a tigerfish or a unique perch. That's not something that I really want to put up. So I'm going to move on to back over to the other spot, and I'll actually put the waggler back on. And also, kind of, if you guys key notes for anybody that didn't look at the rewards for this thing anyway, uh, maybe some bait coins or whatever, but basically they're giving you X Series Waggler if you're lucky enough to place top 3 out of the however many people registered for this. Also, I guess I could have showed some marks. Most of you guys probably should have all these marks, but um, oh, my apologies. That's my favorite spot right there. That spot for me is the most active. Even though that's a lure mark, that mark there is actually the most active. If anybody needed those marks. I'm sorry, Mariska. Let me look at the chat. I think I missed what you said, buddy. Oh, you got hurt because of a fish fin? Uh, yeah, you know what, Mariska? One time I had a buddy in high school, catfish, believe it or not. The little horns that they have on the side. I don't know if you're aware on the catfish. They got those little horns on the side, and they almost look like fish hooks, so to speak. They're serrated, almost like a saw blade. I had a friend in high school once. He called me like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning. I had to get up early, go to work. I was working for my grandpa at the time, baling hay. Long story short, he caught like a 5 or 6 pound channel cat, real life, and he went to grab it behind the horns. It shook sideways. The horn went through his hand, through his finger, through 2 fingers, his index finger and his middle finger, got stuck. He called me. I had to go out there with a pair of like cutters, like dikes. Had to cut the horn off, take him to the emergency room, and they had to remove it, surgically remove the fish's horn, if you can picture what I'm talking about. So the fish was shaking the entire time. He's screaming. I'm trying to cut the fish off of his hand, basically. But he ended up taking that little serrated fish horn. Oh yeah, he took the serrated fish horn off and made a little necklace out of it. Drilled a hole in it and he put a little necklace out of it. But yeah, he was a big guy too. He was crying like a baby, but it went right through his. He actually ended up with nerve damage in his both one of it. I think it was his index or his middle finger from that catfish. Now, is it possible they'll give us a fish? Probably not. Well, I don't know if I've been lucky. I every once in a while, a largemouth bass will actually. I have before to answer your question. Catfishing, I do. Catfishing, I do, Mariska. I usually don't with bass fishing, but sometimes the bass is because they have just those little teeth on their, on their lips that whenever I'm taking out a crankbait or a offset hook or something, my thumb will get scuffed up. And also, any of you guys watching back, you can see why a lot of people were dreading this, other than the few that's figured this thing out. So, in other words, I would assume you're going to do a heck of a lot better than I did, but this is definitely a slow comp. I was kind of, I'm thinking that, the second and the third round qualifier should be a lot more fun, especially the second one. But my assumption is they wanted this to be really difficult, this first one, I guess. That's the only explanation I can give at this point. I'm actually going to go a little shallower and go down to a 2-0 and an Araku just to see if maybe an arowana will bite over here. Yeah. A butcher's glove would probably work, Charles. Again, 30 minutes left in the comp. I'm fishing off the peninsula. All has probably went about as bad as it could go. Again, I was testing out a bunch of different stuff, but we'll see kind of this last, at this 30-minute mark. Remember, you guys, fast forwarding through this stuff. If I actually catch a fish at some point, you kind of know what was active and what was not. Grew up outside of Orlando and fished in the canals for a lot of gar. That's funny you say that, Charles. I bet you learned your lesson. My oldest son fished the Missouri River for gar, but I was just watching a guy's YouTube the other day, and he was in Florida. Funny you mentioned that. And it was one of those little canals where it had flooded, and I can't remember the size of. Hey, Dutch, how you doing, man? We're over here stinking it up in this PAR competition here, Q1. How's your night going? But anyway, this guy was, Charles has caught this massive thing just pretty much in a drainage canal, a gar. It was so big. You wouldn't even believe that thing was in there. But yeah, my oldest son used to fish for the gar in the Missouri River. But yeah, I definitely would want gloves with those. Let me go ahead and deepen this up again, guys. I'm going to try to go 5 foot. Oh, I think it was Tide Pig Patrol, bro. You know what I'm talking about, Fork. Yeah, he always catches weird stuff. I almost certain it is Tide Pig. Yep. I watch him and I don't know if you heard of this guy. What is his name? Gosh, Mean Gene the Fishing Machine. I don't know if you've ever watched Mean Gene the Fishing Machine. If you haven't watched Mean Gene Fishing Machine, watch him. He's an older gentleman. He's really good though. He's got all kinds of cool tactics. He fishes. I know he lives in Tennessee. because he fishes Lake Guntersville, which is an amazing lake. I've always wanted to go there. Oh yeah, you watch his too? Yeah, his channel does smack, dude. Yep. He's got that alter ego. I can't remember what he calls his alter ego. We used to fish Mount Dora canals, and that is where they used to film the old Tarzan movie, where all the gators on the banks. Yeah, I remember that old Tarzan movie. That's crazy. I didn't even know that was filmed there, man. I remember seeing Tarzan at the drive-thru when I was a kid. Or not the drive-thru, the drive-in. Back in the day when the drive-ins were popular, Charles. We had the old twin drive-in in the Kansas City area. Kansas City, Missouri, and I used to go there a bunch when I was a kid. Usually had the double features. But yeah, that's where I seen Tarzan the first time, my man. Oh yeah, yeah. It's Mean Gene the Fishing Machine. Google it. He's good, dude. He can fish off the bank too and catch big blue cat. It don't matter, crappie, bass. He can catch them with lures. He'll like put a rubber band on a crawdad and catch big bass like that. If he don't hook the crawdad so it stays alive and he kind of just lifts and drops it, he's a machine. You're giving away our age, Charles. I know, right, bro? Oh man. Yeah, I'm already gray, Charles. The change is already happening, my man. As you can see, the only thing I'm catching at this stage, guys, is dragonflies. I've tried this spot again, numerous depths. I even tried to go down hook size. Again, this is how bad this could be for you guys. You're going sea fishing with the Whopper Plopper. Yeah, Mariska. Next time I'm at Arcade Sports or Academy Sports here. I don't know if anybody has those in their area. I'm gonna get me one at Academy Sports. I want to say they were $32, but I'm gonna grab one. They're massive. I want to try it out for myself. Okay, Raku's not working for me. I went through a lot of these premium baits. I'm gonna go back to old-fashioned minnow and just see if somehow, some way, they'll give me a fish. Probably not gonna happen, but that's all right. And if I'm keeping track, I think I caught 2 peora. And the odd part is, if anybody's been watching, I really didn't strike it rich on the piranha either, so I definitely did not get a good bite rate no matter what I did. And again, you would think with a 2-0 and a large minnow on here, I would at least be getting some piranha by now. A couple of tropic peora, and you'll feel better about this. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Like I said, I didn't have any high expectations anyway. And if I was serious about it, I would have started, instead of doing the comp adventure the last couple of weeks, I would have sat here and practiced this 3 or 4 hours a day if I was really going to take it serious. Now we're going to get some piranha in here. At least it was a trophy. Oh, it's a Taman color? Might do well, my man. I hope it does for you. In real life, I use shad on jig heads, offset hooks, plastic worms, lizards, which is kind of like nymphs in this game, uh, poppers, kind of like the major poppers on here, jitterbug. In real life, a jitterbug on here is kind of like the topper lure. A couple walkers. I use Rapalas, which is like the deep cranks on here. That's why I put a lot of those on my videos on this game. I use the Rapalas a lot, even for bass. I got a 10, a 15, and a 20 footer, depending on where I fish. And some bass spinners, of course. Man, this is brutal, boys. I ain't gonna lie. I knew this was gonna be a long 2 hours, but this is a really hard one. And I was assuming you guys lingering around waiting to play after this. The good thing is you're gonna feel really good about your round, because there's no way it's gonna be this bad for you guys. I can almost promise you. And Josh, if you're here, for crying out loud, what's the next comp, bro? What will you get when fishing Planet Rod reels lures are free? What will you get when... Hold on, let me read that again, Roscoe. What will you get when fishing Planet Rods reels lures are free? I'm confused on the question, Mariska. What will you get when the fishing Planet Rod reels lures are free? I don't think I could buy a bite at this point, guys. Let's try to go deeper here. I'm going to try to go 60 inches. Oh, bored? Oh, okay. Yeah. Crank the River, of course it is. Yeah, I'm not putting that up on my channel until they fix that map. I'm not even going to participate in it. And I do know that a lot of the participations went down in Crank the River too, since that was exposed. Alright, we got action. Is this where we make our move? I'm expecting the biggest piranha known to man. Watch it be in a paramana, or will I even get a fish? If it's a piranha, it's a nice one. I finished row order in 6, but one catching uniques. This was using a little waggler, so it sinks. Yeah, Sparky, I mentioned that. Like I said, I'm not going to sit and knock my fellow fishermen, but I doubt that's what the developers intended. I knew this was going to be painful when I came in here and tried to do it I'm not going to say legit, that might be the wrong word. I'm going to say I'm trying to do it the sim way, which I think the developers wanted you to use an actual waggler. They probably wanted you to move around, change depths, that sort of thing. I doubt they intended you to sink. So if you did that the intended way, I should say, Sparky, and you were able to finish in the top 10, that's amazing. So good fishing, Sparky. And again, I got a lot of friends on my friends list that probably played with the sinking bopper method, so I'm not knocking you guys for it. Just for me, I wanted to have the genuine experience, and if they wanted me to have a really slow rate and work for it and whatever, that's fishing. Sometimes you just get knocked. I've been knocked around on this channel. You guys have seen it. And I've had some good rounds too, so I don't mind taking one on the chin. And I know with one fish at the Amazon tomorrow, I'll feel a lot better. But yeah, that was some good fishing, Sparky, my man. I'm also wondering how many people registered for the tournament, and it's probably not even going to play in the Q1 after some of the streams they've seen today. And we had a couple guesses where the cutoff's going to be. Some are saying around 100 to 120 range, but we'll see how it plays out. My bobber stopped like I was actually going to get a fish, but even the piranha don't like me. Yeah. See, I don't know if you caught the start of this. I came in with a different frame of mind. I was going to try the, at the top of the peak, Sparky, I was going to try a Captain 7.0. And I stuck it out for a little bit, ended up getting a nice 16-pound trophy. But again, I think I should have started at the Peninsula. If I was to do it over, I would start there. But like I said, again, any of you guys on my friends list that are doing the sinking bobber, that's just fine too, and especially any of you guys that haven't played any yet. But that rumor has it that's been the best strat for the guys that are getting up in the triple digits to sink your light waggler on 9 to 10 inch without a leader, braided line with the spod reel to be exact on the Majesty. Yeah, I appreciate it, Charger. Thanks for stopping by. Like I said, I'm not knocking you guys that are using that method. I wanted to see what this authentic experience would be like. Just trying to use a traditional float. I knew this one was going to be a very difficult one. You got a 12-pound trophy on a 7.0, then dropped to 3.0 and 4.0. Yeah, see, that's kind of what I was thinking too, Josh, is just rotate around. My guess is they probably want you to get, maybe one unique pair, go through, get a couple trophies, and then downsize your hooks, and then maybe go for the Arowana. That way you had a mix in your bag. But again, other people figured out a way to gorge the Payara, which is fine. But keynote to any of the developers that might watch this, you might in the future, and I kind of hope in the future too, that you eliminate the Troy from a lot of at least the big fish competitions. I think that would be welcomed by a lot of the community as well. But something like this, I think if you're wanting people to use floats, maybe make sure that you set the wagglers only, heavy, medium, whatever won't sink on the bait that you're wanting us to use. Again, because we got a lot of clever people out there. Again, I'm not calling anybody a cheater, but we got a lot of clever fishermen out there in the community as well that will figure a workaround. If there's a slow bite rate, they'll figure out a way to get those big numbers in there anyway. So at least test those things out a little more thoroughly, developers, before you release something like this. For those that want to do the authentic simulation, like myself. And I also admire Dave, who went through and battled. I don't know how many pounds Dave ended up with today. I watched about the first 15 minutes of it, and I could tell it was really painful for him, but he wanted the authentic experience. So my hat's off to Super Dave as well. One second, Sparky, I missed that comment. Hold on. I was looking at my phone at the same time. Yeah, I agree, Sparky. And they're finally gonna give me a fish. This might even be a trophy. Is that a trophy? Trophy, boys, on a 2-0. I'll take it at the end. Yeah, here's my thing. Like, again, I have a lot of friends on my friends list that I think. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's people that are getting outrageous scores. They're one pump chumping in the tiger trails. They're one pump chumping in the almost to a certainty they're using the one pump chump method for the meaty fellas. That's the only thing in my head that explains those scores. They're one pump chumping in the tiger trails and probably the trophy whiskers, truth be known. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not sitting here. I'm not the guy that's going to be the narc or whatever. It's more of a exploit than I would say a cheating or a broken mechanic, as Dave calls it. But yeah, the shark. Now you guys know as well as I put it up on my channel. The trophy shark for me, I do make that exception, just because a lot of and it'll still happen on a toy. But a match rod, I got sick of when I first went to the Amazon, and I fished for the trophy sharks. And even if I got a decent shark, it would almost always get stuck on the bottom, whether I was at the canals, whether I was at the island. Now, as well as, everybody knows on the trophy sharks, the Bully Me shark or the Big Brother, everybody knows that they're using the Troy by now. So that's the only reason I kind of made the exception in my head on that, is most everybody's doing that. Now, for any of those that don't know, people have figured out one way or the other, whether they want to admit it or not. I know they're doing that in the tiger trails, because I can tell by the people that are in the top by simply clicking on and seeing that they have a Troy in their hand. That's pretty much a dead giveaway. So now, I doubt that's what the game wanted you to do, or the developer wanted you to do. So that's just personal preference on you guys again. But yeah, to me, that's not a simulation way of playing the tiger trails, is to put on a Troy, get an accelerated bite rate, be 30 foot back, and then just one pump chump that thing in. A 100-pound tiger fish is going to just instantly bite through the line. So I would assume that's why they're kind of vague on, they're working on getting the I don't know if they want to call it cheating. I'll call it just exploiting, or a broken mechanic, however Dave wants to phrase it. But I'm kind of in that same bandwagon. Yeah, I agree, SG. Like I said, I'm not trying to rub the fishing community a long way. It's kind of a weird gray area. I really don't think that they intended for people to float the bobber here, and I doubt they intended tiger trails and meaty fellows and all the other ones to be people be using a Troy as well. Yeah, that's the thing, Charles. I don't think that they, heck, you guys have seen me the other day when I did the Don't Bully Me Shark, or the Blaze the Maze. I got all 3 trophy shark using the Troy. You're going to have an accelerated bite rate, so that's what a lot of people don't understand, like in the tiger trails. They're just one pump chumping those things, and those guys that are at the top. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't take skill, so one of those things don't get away from you. But when they're doing that, and my fear is, I wouldn't doubt if some of them are doing it on the, what's the one long and one short? Because I seen a guy the other day at the waterfall doing it, and I'm not going to name his name. I seen a guy in an open lobby, one pump chumping 400-pound unique Nile perch, even right over the buoy there. Literally. He was just pulling them in. So some of those guys got those things down to a fine art, and then they're going around from comp to comp doing that. So, but again, uh, I don't. For me, it would make it really easy. Just don't allow telescopic rods other than panfish tournaments. So any fish over 20 pounds, any of these comps, that would be the simple fix for me. Is just don't allow the telescopic rods unless you're fishing for panfish or fish that are 20 pounds and under. But that's just my thoughts on it. Yeah, like I said, I'm not singling out any one player, but I can tell by looking at the scores and then seeing who the top 3 or 4 or 5 are, and when they got a Halloween Troy in their hand, or they've got the whatever the other ones are, the Caesar, uh, those sorts. They're the same with people that use aim assist and camp at spawn sites on other games. Yeah, those guys. Yeah, I know. But yeah, and then on the flip side of it, it is a video game for crying out loud. But to me, it's just kind of comical to. In other words, it's hard for me to tip a hat at somebody that's just hanging their Troy out on a or their float out, 30 foot out, and then they're just doing this, and then one pump chumping them as soon as they get the animation where it just basically tips their boat forward. They pull the fish in. That's not now. Guys that go out and put up those enormous scores in top water victory working a lure, I will tip my hat at you at that. But if you're sitting in meaty fellas, just one pump chumping 300-pound catfish in on 13-pound test line on your Halloween Troy, I'm not going to tip my hat at you, boys. But again, that doesn't fall on the player. That falls more on the developers. Simply put, take the telescopic rod out of the criteria. In other words, they can one pump chump them all they want, but the fish don't count. But I would assume that's what they meant kind of by, they were really vague on that description on they're working on getting some of the, this is them quoting, not me, getting some of the cheating out of the game. So we shall see. But yeah, there's always some workaround. It don't matter what game you're playing. And again, I'm not just picking on you guys fishing playing. And I know that you got a lot to sort through and it's hard to fix double. I think I watched a video on Dave's thing. I don't know how they fix people with double accounts either because you can't, he's right, you can't ban an entire IP address. Yeah, they could do that as well, Charles. That's a good point. If they've determined that they were able to catch that fish too quick, that's exactly right. Where it wouldn't count. Like I said, they're probably in the conundrum of they've got all those packs that people's bought with those Troys and stuff. Heck, I got a golden Troy because I got the golden edition to support the game, even though I didn't need anything. I bought the deluxe edition just because I wanted 2 different rods and I like that golden canoe or whatever. So I bought this stuff just to kind of help support the game. Now I would prefer not to lose my Troy, but I'm not going around in tiger trails with my golden or deluxe Troy, pulling out Goliath fish and then banging my chest at the top of the leaderboard in tiger trails like I've done something fantastic. So that is a little bit of dig at the guys that are doing that. That's not impressive to the rest of us underneath. But that does fall on you, Fishing Planet, to figure out what you can do. You can't get rid of people. In other words, I don't want to lose my Troy because I would like to use it for panfish and other things. But yeah, I don't want to go run through the tiger trails when I'm supposed to be using a match rod. Is that a nice sized fish there? Am I going to get one at the end? Nope. He said goodbye. He's sick of me ranting. It's not supposed to. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but me and a friend went off the other day and started a template just to see, because we were looking at the leaderboards to see who was on top. And a couple of the guys that had an enormous score both had Troys in their inventory. So me and a buddy went and tested it in a template for Tiger Trails, and the points counted. We tested it. So in my opinion, Fishing Planet, if you're going to let people use Troy, then I guess everybody should know that. Not saying it don't take skill to do the one pump chump, but that's I can assure you, set up a template, go, and I'm not telling you to go do it, and you do what you want. But I can tell you, set it up in a template, go catch an African tiger fish if you want, and you'll see in a template for Tiger Trails, the Troy will count, even though it says match rod. All right, I'm gonna probably take a little bit of a break, and then I'll probably do this one. It doesn't look like there's one at 11. I haven't put this one up on my channel, so I will do this one. Again, I'm not putting this one up on my channel till the Fishing Planet's able to fix the magic rock, where you can cast in over and over and get multiple trophies and unis or whatever they're doing there. I just watched Dave's video briefly on that. So since I've seen Dave's video on that, I have not even entered that, or I won't put it on my channel yet. But I have not put this one up yet on my channel. It's very similar to Battle of Kanique. Oh, that's all right, Josh. Like I said, I tested a few things out. I probably didn't do too much to help very many people, but other than how horrible it is. Yes, Charles, I couldn't agree with you more. We had that conversation before. If they actually made you match the gear for the fish size, even on crappie, that's where a lot of people will probably be hating on me. But spot reel on the crappie and spot reel on the cheesy cat and spot reel on, what's the other one? Fly like a bass or fly like a butterfly. Yeah, if you actually had to do 10, 12 pound setups on the bass, or the, let's say 6 pound setups for the crappie, it would definitely be more sim. But again, I'm probably living on my own island there. Or Charles, we might be on that island together. I don't know. But yeah, I'll probably put this up this evening. But I'm going to take a little break, talk to my friend a little bit, and I'm probably going to do a little practicing for the Qual 2 tomorrow. So I'm going to practice a little bit with my buddy Josh if he's got the time. So we got to figure out. Oh, Charles, well, I got you here. Do you know what peak that is for the Q2? Is it the shark peak? Is it the double hump peak, or like the stair step peak? The 2-inch nymph with a small jig works well for the small pink salmon and midnight salmon. All right, buddy. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, I appreciate it, my man. But yeah, all right. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here, guys. I'll figure out that peak on my own, Charles. You don't have to worry about it, man. I'll figure it out. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a lot more success than I did in this tournament. Again, keynotes, I would say, is, probably hooks 3.0 to 5.0 might be the best, but you might be a guy that explores a little bigger hook to start. Maybe start at that peninsula, but who knows? I had the worst RNG ever as well, so tips for a 77. Tips for a 77, Josh. You'll have to talk to Charles on the side on that. I've still been trying to figure out. Oh, you haven't even looked yet? You're going to set up for one? All right, my man. Well, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. I hope this didn't seem too opinionated, but yeah, I think the developers will work through some of the glitching or exploiting. And my apologies if I hurt anybody, the top players on my friends list. I know a lot of you guys are slayers in lure tournaments, but I guess you can't help yourself from pigging out on the all-you-can-eat X Series lures buffet with the Troy. But anyway, it's all good and fun. You guys take care. Roach spoon or X Series medium spoon, Charles was saying, for the bigger salmon there at the Salmon Galore. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you again here soon.